think, yeah, I would say that if I knew that what that was, that is what I am. Yeah.
You're a man who knows. I know you a little enough to say that you're a man who knows a little bit about a lot of things. I would imagine.
I think that's probably fair. Yes, and not much about anything specific.
Exactly, and that's what makes you perfect for this show. And indeed, radio work generally. I mean, that's one of the great assets of being a DJ. I think is we're not really required
to talk rubbish.
Exactly, and so you're currently on tour. Let's get a bit of that plugging out of the way first.
I am, yes. I'm doing my show, which is called, let's call it Oh Dear I'm 40, thing on the radio, but the dear is replaced by a rude word in the actuality, and I'm in Glasgow tonight at the Tron Theatre. I'm here in Glasgow now. It's terrific.
You are a very funny man, and I don't want to embarrass you by saying that you have become something of a guru to me, as you know, in recent months, because I have rather carefully under the wire returned to the stand-up stage, and you have been holding my hand very kindly.
I've seen you a few times and given you a couple of gigs and advised you about gigs. It's going very well for you, I think, Stephen. I think if you stick at it, you could do quite well at comedy.
Thank you very much indeed. I appreciate your kind words. I see you very much as a sort of Mr. Miyagi figure. Well, I appreciate that. Richard, you, let's just quickly talk about you, the man. Let's get quickly behind the brain and the face and explore the man. We know you, of course, if we're old enough, from Fist of Fun and your TV work.
Yes.
More recently, we'll have enjoyed you on the radio with Andrew Collins.
Yes, we used to do this slot, didn't we? I thought, maybe it was the one before.
I don't think we bumped Andrew. I think Andrew was here, but I don't think you featured on it.
No, okay.
Yes, and now you're podcasting with Andrew.
I am, yeah, we're doing, we've just done sort of 3, we do them fortnightly, and yeah, it seems to be going, it's nice to get back to this. We haven't been done together for about a year, and we'd always just enjoyed messing around, so we thought we'd do it, via our computers, which we've managed to somehow, we're not very technically literate, but we've managed to somehow get podcasts up, and they've been quite good fun.
You've jumped on the podcast bandwagon, nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, you were trying to sing me, you'd be my mentor in podcasts.
Absolutely. Well, all I'd say is don't start charging for it.
Yes, well, I don't think we're going to do that.
Your millions of listeners.
I don't think anyone would buy our one.
What would we hear you wittering on about if we were to download it?
The latest one we talked to last Friday. We do it every fortnight. So I was quite ill last week. So there's a lot about Lemsip. I think we did. And Andrew's obsessed with these Match.com adverts of Cupid and Fate and how appalling an advertisement campaign it is. So we were sort of slagging that off. So we just basically get a gabble on. Really, we don't have any. We have a vague idea of what we might talk about. Well, we haven't really planned anything, but it seems to be working out okay. We're in the chart. I don't know how easy it is to get in the chart, but we're in there.
And is there anything within the content of those podcasts that might be of use to Brian Grazer?
Not very much. I think I wouldn't be much use to him, and I'm kind of culturally quite. It's like you were saying. Really, I kind of know a little bit about everything, but not much. I guess if he wanted to catch up on, Paris Hilton's Kitten, and I mean, I don't know. Do
you know about Paris Hilton's Kitten?
Lemsip is culture in a way, isn't it? I mean, he probably doesn't know much about Lemsip Max and the various strengths of Lemsip.
Listen, I don't think any of us do. I think we're all keen to find out.
I think that's the thing. I think there's always room for more knowledge about Lemsip.
What could you tell us about Lemsip? I mean, this seems the perfect opportunity.
Well, I overdosed on it. I took more than they advised, and I was worried that I would die, because I was quite ill, and I was having to do gigs every night, so I was sort of having 3 or 4 of them every couple of hours, and you're only meant to have 4 every 24 hours. So either I'm superhuman, or the actual dosage on them is you can exceed it a little bit more than they say. I think they're being overcautious at Lemsip.
So at Lemsip HQ, you feel that they're just worry bunnies.
Yeah, I think they are. I am pretty hard, and it might be my constitution. Some people, can take hard drugs, and some people can't. And I think maybe I'm one of the. I had like 6 Lemsip Max is probably not just Lemsips, Max.
But Lemsip. That's the max. I mean, that's the max that the human body could take, and yet you've taken it.
Yeah. So so I know quite a lot about that. But I think it'd be quite embarrassing if it had killed me, and that was what the reports had come out that I'd overdosed on Lemsip Max. It's not very rock and roll.
I once I once took some very strong painkillers when I was at university, and then had a pint or two, and went to see The Orb by strange coincidence. And I'll tell you, it was the most extraordinary night of my life. It was like what I imagined it would be like to take illegal narcotics. Children, do not take them; they are illegal. But it was quite extraordinary. I mean, they say that you shouldn't drink and take strong painkillers, but man alive, if you find out what it's like, you'll be doing it every week.
Don't say that. People might do it now. Well, definitely, people will copy you, Stephen. People look up to you. Non-drug taking people think, well, I don't take drugs, but Stephen Merchant, well, we might have set some people on the road, but between the two of us now.
Yeah, there's going to be a whole
nightmare life.
The gentleman from the UN has been scolding Amy Winehouse for advocating, or not advocating, but for sort of glamorising cocaine use. It looks like we might get a slap on the wrist from the UN as well.
We might do. Well, that'll be interesting.
Listen, if that's not interesting to the multi-billionaire Brian Grazer, who probably has got little or no opinion or interest in Lemsip, it's going to be fascinating for him. And just quickly, give us a little sort of description summary of your stage show. What would one find if we came along to it?
It's kind of a look at turning 40 and still feeling like I'm 20. So it's quite a personal account, but I think it's one that people do seem to identify with, of this kind of inability to accept that the years have passed by. But it's sort of like all the stupid things that I've been sort of in fights, and it's about. I was in a fight last year with some guy, which I think was to do with me trying to recapture my youth, and it's about inappropriate sexual encounters, as most of my material is. So it's sort of a tragic look at the decline in my life, but hopefully it seems to be quite amusing to other people.
I was going to say, for a while there, it sounded pretty gloomy.
Well, I have to live it, so it's bad for me, but then I talk about it, and then everyone just laughs in my face. And I think it makes the viewer feel better about their own life. So, I'm providing a kind of service to make people realise to count their blessings, I suppose, that they're not me.
Did you just start a fight for a laugh?
No, it was the guy. It was quite a complicated story, but I was talking to some girls after a gig, and this guy kind of interloped into the conversation, and then he sort of was quite drunk, and he took offence at something one of the girls had said, and attempted to physically attack her. So I was the only man with this girl, so I was kind of forced to stand up, even though she was being slightly silly, but she didn't really deserve to be hit. I don't think anyone really does, and so I had to defend the honour of this admittedly slightly annoying woman who I was kind of hoping to have sex with, if I'm honest. That was probably
Did it pan out well? I mean, did you get your end away?
It was just a bit. Luckily, it's a very comedy fight, because I was completely taken over, like, by an instinctive kind of visceral urge to attack this guy after he'd hit me eventually, and I'm not that kind of guy. I've never been in a fight, and so I kind of went from like an animal, and only when I got to him kind of remembered that I have no idea how to fight. So I was sort of just windmilling around him, and luckily he couldn't fight either. It turned out he was a university lecturer, so it was like a middle class comedian and a university lecturer brawling on the streets of Liverpool, which is where I happened to be. I kind of, all that really happened is I got my shirt ripped, and he kicked me in the ghoulies. I think we can say that. But even then, he didn't really do that very well. So it was just sort of embarrassing. Then the police, I've got my t-shirt got ripped, and the police arrived and asked me if I wanted to press charges, but they were laughing as they said that. And then generally I got in a cab. I was really humiliated. I was with these girls, and it had all been going quite well, and then I was just so embarrassed I just got in a cab to leave. And the cab driver had been sitting on the rank, had seen the fight, and he turned to me and said, "That was the funniest fight I've ever seen." Which,
and that's a Liverpool cab driver.
I've been going for impressive macho display, but it was a humorous comic event.
Did you get your end away? That's the question.
No, I didn't. That was it. I mean, I let these girls. One of the girls was quite keen. One of the girls kind of managed to work out where I was staying and rang the hotel to ask if I was okay, and said, "What are you doing now?" And I said, "I'm going to sleep because I'd been I'd been genitally injured, so I guess I wouldn't have been much use in any case."
Sure.
So I sort of do say that I should have made the girls come back to my hotel and lick the parts of my anatomy.
Oh, come on! That's a shame. That's a shame.
It might have been useful to Brian Grazer just until then.
Brian Grazer was about to make that with filth.
He's interested in that. That's what his all culture's really about. That
It's true. All culture is ultimately about men and women fighting for each other. It's beautiful. If nothing else, we can go away with that. Culture is about men fighting for women on the streets of Liverpool.
Yeah, pretty much.
Richard, I mean, I don't have to plug your show to people because they'll love it, but we should anyway. And we've got a couple more weeks. People can still catch you around.
Yeah, I'm pretty much going up till Easter, and then there's a few after that. But yeah, it's quite a kind of hectic next couple of weeks where I'm sort of in Nottingham, I think, and Darlington and Aldershot. Oh, it's all the best places, unless I'm doing sort of Derby, Leicester, Birmingham, Cambridge, and then I'm doing a DVD recording in Brighton on Good Friday.
Fantastic.
To celebrate Jesus' sacrifice.
Sure. And yes, and as I say, if you've not caught Richard live before, then you must get down there. And I say that only because, well, not only because he's brilliant, but also because I feel I owe him.
You do owe me. You owe me big time.
Listen, have you got a musical choice that you could throw our way? That's normally what we ask, I guess.
I think I chose the Mouldy Peaches, didn't I? That's that nice song from Juno. Without, I can't see what anyone else would do with anyone else. That one,
Fantastic, thank you.
No problem.
Perfect. Listen, I really appreciate you coming on, and I think Brian will have enjoyed your contribution.
I think he will. I hope so.
Great. Thank you very much indeed. Cheers. All the best. And also, yes, just remind people as well that we should check out the podcast with you and Andrew Collins.
Please do. Yeah, get us further up the charts. We're slipping down. With Chris Evans has overtaken us. Let's get back above Chris Evans. Come on.
Thank you very much indeed, Richard.
All right. Cheers.
All the best.
Bye.
Mouldy Peaches, anyone else but you on the Steve Show. That's the choice of Richard Herring. We have to go to the news. We're coming back after that with choices from the Pigeonhole, including the one of the tracks from The Last Shadow Puppets, which is this new spin-off project from Alex Turner of the Arctic Monkeys. Back after the news.
On Digital.
From John Lennon's 1974 album Walls and Bridges, Whatever Gets You Through the Night. And of course, Brian may be interested to know, of course, that Elton John is playing piano on that track and also backing vocals. And of course, famously, Elton wagered John Lennon. He said, John, you're going to have a massive hit with this song. And John said, no, I'm not. And John said, and Elton said, well, listen, if you do have a big hit with this, then I want you to perform live with me. And John said, well, it's not going to happen. And then it went to #1 in America. And so John very kindly repaid that debt by performing on stage with Elton at Madison Square Garden, and that turned out to be John's last ever live performance. And he ended by playing, I think it was, I saw her standing there, it might have been one of those, but it was a McCartney track, and he ended his little set with McCartney track, and he dedicated it to Paul. And it was the last ever tune that he played live.
Wow. Stat.
And years later, he was shot and killed. So interesting little fact there for Brian. And who knows? Maybe there's a movie in it. I don't know. That's your decision, Brian. But anyway, it's a Steve Show, BBC Six Music with me, Steve Merchant, and my little gang here. And each week we like to delve into the Pigeonhole, try and dig out some new releases or music that you should be culturally aware of. And first up, MGMT. They're getting a lot of hot praise at the moment. They're getting a lot of pick of the day and stuff like that with their forthcoming album. When is that forthcoming album out? People should need that. They need that information.
It's out tomorrow, Steve.
Thanks very much indeed. So from it, here's a tune which I'm sure you're already sick and tired of. We'll be offering our opinion. Time to Pretend. MGMT is short for management, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, the management, yeah. MGMT, Time to Pretend, single that's been out for a little while, and the album Oracular Spectacular is out tomorrow, getting a lot of praise, a lot of write-ups in the papers and so on, MGMT. But are you singing their praises? Tiny Dan.
Hello. Yes, I like that a lot. Mid-tempo electronica, not enough of it. New Order, the Steve Show splitting New Order. I felt that sort of reminded me ever such a bit musically, vocally completely different. But they've got a big sound. They're not afraid to have a big sound, and you know that I like that, possibly because I'm so very, very small. I admire the largeness of their sound.
It is a large sound, although, Jude, you're telling me there's only a couple of people.
2.
Just 2 lads.
Amazing. Imagine
5 live.
5 live. You can check out an interview with them on 5 Live. What are you telling me?
When they play live.
When they play live, there's 5 of them. I should probably know that. All the blogs would be ablaze. But yes, only 2 people. They're making a big sound. Sammy, is it a big sound that you might enjoy, perhaps when you're dancing till 5 in the morning?
That was specifically a sound that I love. I'm scared to like them in case they become huge, and I don't want to jump on a bandwagon. But I really enjoy that track. It's Mo Drumsy, definitely Mo Drumsy, and it's kind of like that Julie Andrews song, A Few of My Favourite Things. That's musically